Well, hey everybody, I'm Jan Erickson from Stepping Aside, and welcome to As Above, So Below, a rune and tarot divination for Monday, the 9th day of January, 2023. Well, I'm going to get some tea here. It's pretty hot. So my husband just brought it in for me, so it's not too bad. But it does keep, that particular cup keeps my tea really hot, so I really like it. It's a newer cup for me. But it's kind of cool. This time it has a handle instead of just the travel mug I usually use. But anyway, enough of that silliness. Where's my geomancy runes? They're right there. Okay, so I wasn't sure if I had everything where I needed it to be. Well, I hope y'all had a good weekend. We had a bit of snow this weekend, and then it's now gone. It went away yesterday. And I don't know. I mean, it's January, so we're going to get more. We'll probably get some more next month too, but sometimes we don't. We'll get a bunch of it and then we don't get any more, really. At least nothing that sticks for very long or is very deep. But anyway, we're done with that. I don't know how people on in the Bay Area are faring. I saw another evacuation warning. I don't think it in the. I don't know where it was. I don't know if it was the Sacramento. No, it wouldn't have been that. But it's about rivers flooding. Anyway, I don't remember where it was there, but it's in that same general vicinity. So I don't know if it's over for them yet. These atmospheric rivers apparently really can pack a punch. So anyway, keep good thoughts for the folks there if you're one of them, or if you know people there. Let's see. Let's take a look at the esoteric influences for today, the 9th day. I'm looking at a 9 numerology. I drew Kenaz and Amicio for the runes. The 1st, 3rd, and 7th rays are the strongest right now. So will and power, active intelligence, and ceremonial order, and magic. So those were the influences, plus whatever was in the human design chart for Sunday. Or wrap study, but Monday. So after also the moon influences, but that's in the other part of this. I'm not reading that. I'm not reading the moon stuff. I'm just reading this other stuff today. After some careful analysis, you realize that you've gone as far as you can on your own, and a situation you're involved in may benefit from a more collaborative approach. While it may take an adjustment on your part, you're ready to welcome new ideas that can alleviate some of the struggles you've been experiencing. Sometimes it's difficult to let go, right, I'm going to set this over here. It's difficult to let go of what you're doing if you're the only one doing it, or if you're the one in charge or what have you. You know the direction you want to go, but sometimes you get to a point where the solutions aren't there. So you have to either ask for help or invite others, to come in and participate. So, and as hard as that may be for some people to do, and it is, I know that it is, it's just going to be better in the long run if you do that today. So let's see if the reading follows any of that, or if it takes off on its own direction. You never know. Let's go ahead and draw a rune from the Elder Futhark bag. I made another bag for another tarot deck last night because I can't stop now. I don't know. I came up with, I think, a nice deal. It just tucks in. I thought about attaching, lines from here, strings or ribbons or what have you, and then tie it. That might be cool too. But then it would affect my ability to stack them, because I have a ton of tarot decks. But anyway, this is kind of cool because it's not a drawstring, and it just tucks in like that, and it's very neat, very tidy. And it keeps the cards covered, which is nice. Well, this is Manaz today. Now, Manaz is a very complex rune. It's really a bind rune in and of itself. I can tell you it has Isa on the sides. It has, if you look just at the forward and reverse P looking, the letter P looking runes there, that would be Vunyo, forward and reversed. You also, the X in the center is Gebo. You also have Dagaz. So, and throughout Dagaz, you have, and Gebo, you have Kenaz. so in all directions. And so this is a very complex rune. It's about the individual in society, whereas El was the rune before, it looked like the letter M. You're looking at flowing in harmony toward either equal sides of the self or toward another person. But this is a bigger energy, and so it's considered to be man. It's man in society, the individual within society. Let's see if there's anything else I'm missing here. I don't think so. That's the main stuff. Oh, I know. Integration. It's also the thought and memory rune. So you could think of it as, if you're familiar with the lore surrounding Odin, he had two ravens, thought and memory, and Hugin and Munin, also known as thought and memory. And it reminds me of this rune because that's part of the it's the ability to come together with intention, really. So there's your thought and memory of the tradition of all of that. So again, it's a very, very complex rune, and again, a bind rune in and of itself. So something today, again, I mean, it could apply to what we talked about with the esoteric influences for today. That you need to be a little more collaborative, and remember that collaboration is not necessarily a bad thing. But we'll see. Okay, that's just one aspect of this, and so, but again, how we integrate with other people, how we see them in terms of our place in the universe. I mean, it could have something to do with today's esoteric influences. Well, we have Fortuna Major, so again, if you're wanting to have some success, you have to think in collaboration with others. So I don't know, maybe it is. Yeah, here we have Fortuna Major. This is greater fortune. And so for our greater fortune, either because you're wanting some project you're doing or some work thing you're doing to come to a successful conclusion, you could look at it that way. But you could also look at it in terms of when we have when we come together in unity with one another, when we understand that higher purpose, when we understand, who we are together, essentially as one soul in many bodies, then you understand that if we're going to be successful in this, and again, what actually defines success, though? Did you do what you came here to do? Even though it might have not been, it might have been more oriented towards service to self, and maybe you're going to be just a really, selfish individual, but maybe that was a catalyst for other people's learning. So success can be defined a lot of different ways, even in a negative sense, right? So it just depends on how you want to see this, though. But if we want to see it from a positive standpoint, the more we come together in unity with other people, the more we remember that truth about ourselves, and that everyone is literally the other side of self. Okay, what we project out is the world that we see, and everyone is doing that. Every soul aspect is doing that here, and so it all comes together in this agreed upon thing in the world. Now, perceptually speaking, it might be different for each person, but the truth of it is a mountain's over there, and that's a car, and that, you see what I'm saying. We may see each of that differently, but like one may view the mountain as oh no, I don't want to go up there, and another might go, oh yeah, let's go. So you can see perception can be different. But the idea is that if we come together in some kind of unity, if we understand that being at odds to all of the time, and the conflict all the time, and the hate stuff all the time, that isn't going to get us anywhere. And coming together, on the other hand, in some kind of integrated fashion with manas will then bring greater fortune. So I think it's pretty clear what the runes are saying. But let's see, I'm going to shuffle just a little bit more. I've already been sitting here shuffling before I hit the start button here on my video software. Gosh, I've learned so much about that, and yet I know next to nothing. So I look at some of this stuff in this, I'm thinking, well, I'm not using it for any of that. I'm not using it to put together videos, but I did learn how to, if I screw up the end, I can just film the end and then put it, connect the two together, take off the bad part and put on the new part. I think I can still do that. I figured that out one day. So it's been an interesting experience doing this. I've had to, use different software. I finally found this one that I'm using, and I like it. I haven't felt compelled to find anything else in several years. So I have had different computers. I've had different software. It's like, oh my God, how am I going to do this? So anyway, that's enough of this. I think we'll just go ahead and pull 3 cards. I'll cut the deck. Take it from the bottom. Well, we have the King of Wands, we have the Hermit, and we have the Nine of Pentacles. I think we had the Nine of Pentacles last week. I'm not sure what day, but I'm pretty sure we did. Could have been another reading I did, but I don't think so. I think it was here. But let's look at the King of Wands and see what we have here. I don't know that I want to necessarily... I don't think I'm going to change the order of this. I think I'm going to leave it in the order that it's in. So we have one from the Court and the Suit of Wands, which is the fire element. We have another from the Major Arcana, which is the Hermit. And we have a one from Pentacles, the 9, which is the earth element. And so our physical reality, this is the creative spark. This is the will. This is opportunities and things like that. Anything fiery. And but the King of Wands, he's a you see him sitting on his throne. You see the lions there. There's 2 lions on the back of it. There's also a salamander. You see one here, and you see them up here creating Ouroboroses. Which means that they're grabbing their tail. Usually it's a snake, but it doesn't have to be. It can also be. Let me get out of this little hole I'm sitting in here in the linoleum. But anyway, they basically what they're doing is they're creating a unified experience. And so again, unity of creation. What comes around goes around. I mean, I don't know. You can think of it a variety of ways. He's holding a staff, which is part of the Suit of Wands. It's a little growth coming out of it. So he's looking toward the past, though. You got some kings that either will kind of look at you or this one's looking toward the past. I interpret it to be that. Going the other way, I guess this way would be going to the future. Looking toward the future. You really see it in the Knights. But the kings kind of go their own way, really. But you're looking at an authority figure, an older man. He's knowledgeable. He's a wise counselor. He's a warrior. He can be cruel. He can be bigoted, judgmental in a way that's really serious because he has the power to take that out on people. But he can also be a mentor about new opportunities. He's got a lot of experience. And so you could almost interpret this as he's looking toward the past or his past experience to then be able to provide some ideas for new opportunities or new directions or what that you want to take. But the thing is, the authority aspect of it, we might want to consider a little bit about that and bringing a spiritual component to that with the Hermit. So how I think I'm going to read the 2 here is I think that the Hermit is going to, if you read it this way, beginning with the king here, if we think of him in terms of his authority and how he might express it, especially if it's in a way that doesn't give another person a chance. See, ill-dignified, upside down, reversed. It might be that's where the cruelty and the bigotry and the not wanting others to succeed because he wants to be the one to succeed could come into play. And so I tend to look at these cards in a whole version instead of doing reversals because I don't know. To me, I don't think we need to do it that way. I think we can consider both sides of the same coin because that's what a normal presentation versus a reversal is. It's 2 sides of the same coin. So I just prefer to look at things that way. And so with respect to the king, maybe he is a little miserly about his help, a little miserly about his whole assistance of others. preferring to keep all of the accolades to himself. Well, so in other words, how you deal with authority can be dealt with the kings and the queens, but the problem is we have the hermit that comes in next, the ninth card of the Elder Futhark of the major arcana. I've got runes on the brain here, he stands above on a mountaintop. He's got his staff with him. So there's the fire element. You've also got the lighted lantern with the Merkaba inside, the soul vehicle inside. What he's doing up there is he's getting away, he's retreating, he's withdrawing, he's getting away from the chaos of everything, of the chaos of the world, and he's trying to find spiritual enlightenment. And I think in this week's tarot card of the week, I used the hermit. Only I used the one from the Heindel deck, which if you can go and find that deck, I think tarot.com you might be able to click on decks and it might be there. I'm not sure if it is. Check out the hermit, or go look at the blog and check out the hermit there. It is an incredible expression of this card. And it really, really shows, I think, probably better than any card. I have a lot of different decks, that are just Rider-Waite versions, and then the decks that are non-traditional. Out of all of them, I think that deck explains the hermit better than any of the other cards I've seen. It shows birds around him. The birds are the messengers of spirit. He's trying to draw down the soul awareness into how he's going to manifest into form. And the manifestation into form is involved in this light here. He's bringing light to the world, basically. But what kind of light? It's spiritual light. It's spiritual awareness. And so if he's going to modify the king, then the king really needs to be the wise mentor here. How you establish authority is very important. If it relates to today's esoteric influences, you realize as the quote authority person in what you're doing, because you're the only one doing it, therefore you're the authority. Now you have to drop resistance to some of that, and I'm recommending to share that experience with other people for a better success. And in this case, we're looking at finding integration with others with Manaz, and then for a greater fortune or greater success, right? So we have to then decide, what kind of an authority figure are we around other people? Are we going to allow for the input from others? Are we going to acknowledge that we need input from others? Sometimes that's a tough thing for people to do. Problem is, it could get in the way of something really great happening for you. So sometimes you've got to drop resistance and ask for help. And in this case, doing so is not based on ego, it's based on higher awareness. All right. And at the end of the day, we have another 9 here. 9 is really about endings, completion, generosity, spirituality. So it brings in, the same kind of 9 energy that we have here. The king doesn't have any. And you see the woman in a gorgeous robe. I love this robe that she's wearing. It's like she's there on a Sunday afternoon hunt, and she's got her, she's obviously a woman of means. Maybe she's the queen. But she's got her abundance. You see all the grapes around her. You see the balance here between these two trees. Every time you see 2 of the same, one on either side, irrespective of what it is, the issue of balance is there. Balanced effort, balanced polarity, what have you. It's going to be some kind of balance there. The town, no, that's not the town. That's probably the castle. The castle's way over here in the distance. And she's holding she's got a glove on, and it's like she's on a hunt. She's on a falcon hunt or some kind of hunt out there. She's got her bird on her hand, on her glove, and the little hood is over its head. It is not yet ready to go yet. So either he's just come back and she's put the hood back on, or she's getting ready to go ahead and do that. But she's got her hand on all of her coins here. You can see her hand on that one. And she's basically just at peace. She's got what she needs. She's happy. She's It's like she's coming to the conclusion of, and so out of the out of the process of doing and manifesting, now she's got the success that I think it'll align really well with Fortuna Major. So we'll put that above her. But I think that the integration that we have to remember with Manaz probably goes above the King of Wands and the Hermit. But there's also tradition within the Nine of Pentacles as well, because again, you're talking about your physical manifestation, your physical reality. And here, hers is pretty good. But again, it takes a change in perception maybe for that to happen. So to have the kind of success you want, to have the peace, the comfort, the stability, material security, then you need to decide, how do you express your authority? Are you, and again, if we're going to align with today, which it seems like we can, and it's interesting, Manaz is the rune for Thursday. So that's, and so is Fortuna Major. Oh, that's interesting. Oh my goodness. It's just too bad today isn't Thursday, because I'm looking at Thursday's esoteric influences, and Manaz and Fortuna Major are the runes for that day. So maybe, and instead of a 9 energy today with Kenaz and Amicio, see, there's where the change comes in with Kenaz and Amicio. You're going to lose some of with light, you're going to lose some of the ego, basically. You see, which will control then how you express or influence how you express will and power, active intelligence, and organizing it all together and bringing spirit into your awareness. So those are the components of today's esoteric influences. But on Thursday, we have a 3, Manaz, Fortuna Major, and Mars goes direct that day. We're still in Mars retrograde until Thursday, but we have the 3rd and 7th rays. The 1 drops off, and we have the 3rd and 7th rays as part of the influences for Thursday's reading. So that's kind of interesting. I just noticed that. So I have a feeling these readings this week are going to be connected, and because we're starting out that way, we're aligning with Thursday's reading already, probably more so than with Monday's, but not necessarily. It's kind of interesting. Well, that just threw me there for a loop. But anyway, I love when things like that happen, those kind of synchronicities. Isn't that cool? Especially when you're not trying to make it happen, it just happens. Because when I draw these things, I just draw them. I can't make it happen. I can't find a rune inside my bag and pull the exact one out that I want to use. That's not possible any more than throwing down 4 elemental geomancy runes to find the geomancy rune. I mean, I can't make that happen either. So that's kind of interesting. So I'm gonna have to keep my notes on this. I write this up I post these over, not on the blog, also on the blog, but also over on Patreon. And over there, though, I do a write up for it. So if you follow me over on Patreon, thank you very much. Then you can. If you don't yet, then if you do, you can see that. See it written up in case you like to. You kind of need some extra stuff to look at or something. So sometimes I'll put stuff in there that I don't say here, like if I forget to do the numerology. So 9 and 9 is 18, which reduces to 9. So a 9 is the overall numerology for the reading. So I'll just say that. Otherwise, I'll say it in there. I didn't say it in the video, so sorry about that. But no, I did it today. And again, there's no number for the king. But again, when you're looking at 9, you're looking at endings, completion, generosity, and spirituality. And I think that, if you want to break down Manaz and you look at just the rune to Gaz, you're standing on the precipice of something new. And so allowing yourself to consider, especially while Mars is still in retrograde, to consider how you express authority is an important thing. And again, on Thursday, when we come back again for the other reading this week, Mars is going to go direct that day. You're still in the shadow of it, so you may still experience some issues with how you assert yourself, but this is a really reflective thing, and I think that the Hermit reinforces that. How do you express authority in your life? Do you allow other people in? Do you hang on to it for some other purpose. Maybe you don't want to share the limelight. Maybe you don't want to share, your invention with other people. I mean, I get that, but maybe there's a way to do it without compromising the work that you've put in, but allowing yourself to open up the doors to other ideas, if you will, to allow that to happen. So that would be another way to consider your authority as the king from a hermit's perspective. And getting up above it all, to be able to see the bigger picture, to be able to understand how spirit informs all of that, and to drop resistance, to allow yourself to retreat, to withdraw, to reconsider. That's the kind of energy of the hermit. So, and in doing so, you ultimately then will find the peace and security that you're looking for. So I don't know. I don't think we need a fourth card. I really think this is just about remembering that the greater authority that we have is really found together, and understanding the unity of things, and drawing down, from spirit, things that we already know, we've just forgotten, and to look at the other side of self, not as the enemy or as the other, but as literally the other side of self. That's looking at things in terms of the either or of it, and understanding that they're just two sides of the same coin. You and the rest of creation are two sides of the same coin. You and another person you're looking at, two sides of the same coin. And dropping resistance to that idea. Just considering it alone can open up interesting ideas for you that you've never thought of before. Not seeing the either or of things, in other words. And it understands the value then of each side of the same coin, right? Each side has value, or you wouldn't have a coin, right? So each soul has value, or you wouldn't have creation, basically. Because what would we be doing here if not for that interaction with other people that we've populated our world with, essentially, that we've brought into our world? Otherwise, we don't notice people. If they're not really part of our existence, they're more background, they're more filler. They exist, we might see them out and about, but they're not part of our lives, and so we don't factor them in. But at the same time, they're still part of that resonance of creation. So, all are valuable, so, irrespective of how they're behaving. You can always learn something from it, and that's the point of this. So, not to necessarily control things, but to observe them and to learn from them. So, anyway, I guess that's it. Interesting reading. Interesting that it's the runes for Thursday's esoteric influences. That is very interesting. So it shows the connectedness of things. I think it really does. So anyway, that's it. Thanks for watching. If you haven't yet clicked subscribe, I'd love you to do that and come back. Join our little rune and tarot family here. This is just a learning experience for everyone, for me and for everyone watching, as we explore how tarot and runes, the interpretations of them, and looking at them together in kind of synchronicity, how they can enhance and inform our lives, and the choices that we make, the things we think about, how we consider one thing or another, and that's just what we do here on Mondays and Thursdays on this YouTube channel. So again, thanks for coming by, and we'll see you again on Thursday. And you already know what we're going to be talking, at least some of it anyway, what we're going to be talking about. And so anyway, we'll talk again on Thursday. Be good to yourself, be good to one another, and blessed be.